my greeting words of Assalamu alaikum, which means peace and blessings be upon you. And I mentioned both Jesus and Muhammad's names. I want to thank you for watching the Underground Railroad television show. And you can chat, share on Facebook, YouTube to disseminate this information. But today we're going to talk about women and them missing in Chicago, and I guess they can relate to other geographical areas. I got my Miami jersey on because you know there are two women that are part owners in the Miami Dolphins, Serena Williams, and I forgot their sister's name, Venus. So you know what, so I'm gonna let the guests introduce themselves, and I wanna say thank y'all for accepting the invitation. Thank you. Go ahead, Mama.
My name is Rabbi Michael Ben Yosef. I'm president of Tikkun Kai International. I'm the spiritual leader of Remeni Israel congregation in Kenya and in Chicago. I'm a community activist in Chicago, a leader in Chicago that deals with the issues of the community issues with regards to police brutality, the women of color murdered and missing, and all of the things of the violence in our community, things of that sort. So I'm just pleased and honored to be here. And that's
okay. And Dr. Lee Warren,
well, I'm Dr. Lee Warren from the PLEM, the Power of Man television show. We've been on some 25, 30 years. I think it's more than that. Anyway, you can contact us at 773-5018, 773-509-8124, and also you can go to our PLEM, our website, PLEM. It's PLIM. I think it's PLEM at plem.org.
And y'all meet, when do y'all meet? Because I know you
we have a public nonprofit, we meet every Sunday. You can go to our website at Power Laden and Man, look it up on the web. And we meet every Sunday over at the Lutheran School of Theology from 8 to, it's from Sundays from 2:30 to about 4:30.
What's the address?
The address is, I think it's at Woodlawn and 55th.
Okay, thank you to Miss Warren, because I know if I see one, I see the other. You know, so talk, you know what, about their women that are coming up missing in Chicago. Okay, and what I don't understand, these are some locations where women are missing, but I don't understand is why are these women coming up missing, but I got other questions. Why? What's going on? Why is the police not giving any urgency whatsoever? Because if Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, her daughter came up missing. If President Trump's daughter came up missing. Obama's daughter came up missing. It would be an urgency. Why is this not going on? I'm going to start with you and then.
Well, we have to first look at the American playbook when it comes to the zip codes and all the disparities that's happening in our community. This is this is an issue that is consistently happening in our community with regards to the violence and everything that you're seeing. The women of color are missing is because the American public, the American society wants to have our people be racially cleansed off the planet. When you see these issues where people are finding up missing in alleys and abandoned buildings, it's more like sweeping things under the rug. I've met many times with regards to going to City Hall to stand before Mayor Lightfoot. Last 2 times I was at the City Hall advocating for this very issue. But unfortunately, Mayor Lightfoot is not interested in hearing about this issue because if you recall, during her campaign trail, she mentioned saying she was concerned about the women of color missing, but there was not any sense of urgency after she was elected.
And Dr. Lee Warren, why is it if Mayor Lightfoot's daughter was missing, or Donald Trump's daughter, son was missing, or Obama's daughter, it would be urgency? But they don't give a damn about the average. Why are the police doing this?
Well, you're dealing with a social economic problem. The system that you're under is totally broke.
Okay.
So you're looking for something to happen as far as the city, state, federal, they're all broke. They don't have enough funds to address various issues. In this case, you can look at the neighborhoods between that, say if you could compare the, say 60s and 70s here in Chicago, you have these problems with the drugs and et cetera, and broken phones and all that. So you're dealing with a whole myriad of issues.
And I got to follow up.
It's almost impossible for them to do what they used to do in the 60s because they don't have the funds or manpower.
Let me ask you the question in the other way. I was saying if one of the elite from the Pittsburgh got a trilateral.
Well, that's a whole other ballgame. We ain't going to talk about that. We don't bring that issue up.
Okay.
Those people have power and money. People have, I like to say, the people that you're talking about, they have a get out jail card. They're not arrested for nothing.
I'm saying to be abducted.
That doesn't. You understand? You're talking about a whole social class of people that have those that have power, and those that are disenchanted in the society because, as a result of America being industrialized, you get a whole host of problems. People do not have jobs, basically, that are living wages. So when you look at that, you got families. Just for instance, you got a third of Chicago to the South Side. They exist on $25,000 or $30,000. That's poverty wages. The average wage in Chicago that you need to live is between $65,000 and $70,000. That's those are technical people, mostly are Caucasian that have the technical skills to what's it called. Now you got most of these people here in Chicago, like on the South and West Side. Most of the issues is social economics. Because if you had halfway decent economics, you wouldn't have the women that you're talking about. Half those women that are out on the street, they're out hustling, drug addicts.
Well,
So then if you got that issue, well, why are they out there? Well, it's social economics again.
Well, the reason why you're seeing a disconnect when it comes to solving these crimes is because if you look at downtown Chicago, I actually go down there and watch and look in how the beautiful landscaping, all of the potteries, it seems to be very, very affordable when it comes downtown the Manhattan Mile.
I see a white tidal wave, brother. I
You
mean,
see
all due
Lollapalooza?
respect to the Caucasians.
How does they have Lollapalooza? How do we have the Green Lake during time St. Patrick's Day? How do we have all these buildings being renovated for Soldier Field?
Because those people basically have the income. So you look at, say for instance, in Lincoln Park or Northside, the average one bedroom is $1,800. Two bedroom is $2,200, and then the Summer Loop is $3,300. Now the people on the South and West Side, they don't have the income.
Well, I think what we're talking about is why it's not happening. Because if you recall, when I was at the city council meeting, at the end of the meeting, Mayor Lightfoot and all the officials waited to the last minute when everyone left the meeting, and they talked about the pensions. They said the pensions is more priority. If you heard her address,
Oh yes,
to the community, she said the pensions is more priority. So that means that those who are sitting, waiting to go out off their jobs and live off the life going out into the sunset, they're paying millions and billions of dollars. I think she said it's over what 200 some plus $1 million that's going towards these pensions.
no, right, they're behind.
They're behind. So
They're underfunded $200 billion.
First, as opposed to dealing with
That's right. You know why?
community.
Because the way the Constitution is stated. See, most people are totally ignorant of basically just common math, economics, and finance. See, I happen to be one of the first black portfolios in the city of Chicago in the 60s. That's rich white folks' money. Black people ain't got no money. See? So that's the main problem. And see, nobody wants to deal with the economic issue because, listen, most of us black and brown people are untrained for the current economy that's taking place now. You got a technical innovation economy. There's not enough jobs here for manual labor. That stuff has been shipped overseas.
It's going to be more chaos.
And when the robots come in and AI come in, it's over with.
Well, here's another reason why we can't get these detectives out to solve these murders. It's because
That's the question I was coming to next.
Because of the fact is they're paying police brutality funds to the lawyers of over $213 million since 2004. So there's nothing left to go and put these people into the streets to solve these murders.
Let me say that when you get through, okay?
Okay, the reason for that, for I call it malpractice, malfeasance, the police department, and all these innocent black people are put in jail. Most black people don't even know who done that. That's Clifton, and the whole thing about they had a law passed where the prison system became profitable, and they had to have them filled. So they was throwing, they was guaranteed, the prison built these prisons. They said, listen, how do we get this, if you got a prison, we're going to build it as a private, well, it's like a hotel now. It's like a roach motel. We got to have people in this in this prison system.
Privatized.
And it's privatized. We got to have people in it. We don't have enough innocent, normal people, criminals. He said, we're just going to fake and just put every black person we can for whatever crime, throw their butt in jail to maintain the prison system.
Okay. I want you know what?
Now they got to pay for that stuff because they found that the whole thing came out.
I forgot to say one thing at the beginning. I want to thank Zelda Robinson,
Amen.
HLM, to put me in contact with you. I want to thank her
Amen.
publicly, give her props, But one thing I want to ask both of y'all, are y'all disgusted, upset, mad that there are so many unsolved murders in Chicago?
Well, there is.
And I'm going to move on.
If you look at the clearance rate, Chicago is the most surveillance city in the United States, meaning every light pole has a camera. And if you recall, during the time of Lollapalooza, there was a car that was full of guns within that vehicle. This city, the police department, apprehended right swiftly that same day and brought those people to justice right then and there. So if you look at the clearance rate of 9.5% only, if you go to Illinois State Police, I went there and actually did an action there, the press conference there. The state police forensics is backed up 6,000 cases. So that means there is absolutely not getting any results of having these murders solved because they have no manpower and money missing.
That's the whole point.
So, but here's the thing: we're finding all of the Lollapalooza. We finding all of turning the lake green. There's so much money going to everywhere else, but to the zip codes of where people are.
People that's looking, I know why, you know why. But go ahead, Dr. Lee Warren.
Well,
are you disgusted that there's so many murders that are not being solved by these police? I'm not.
Well, it comes back basically, like I said, the main thing is manpower and the enough revenue. So when you start talking about like investing in certain neighborhoods, they're looking for returns. See, you got to look at certain neighborhoods don't have a high tax rate. So if you living on the Gold Coast, you paying what? You may pay, but you get a $2 million condo. You paying maybe $50 or $60 million a year in taxes. Now, if you're on the South Side, you're paying $3,000 or $4,000, maybe $5,000 for taxes. Now, who you think where they're going to do the resources?
They deserve more protection. I'm asking.
You're not understanding. You're not listening to the question. The question is you got somebody that's paying $50,000 taxes versus somebody that's paying $5,000. Now, where are you going to put your resources at?
Well, here's the thing.
No, you haven't asked the question. Where would you put your resources?
Resources where the money's at.
That's it.
But however, this is another thing we're failing to realize, which I'm going to be doing an action where all these abandoned buildings are at. They're there for a reason because Chicago makes a penny off all of those abandoned buildings. That's why we see where the crime is the infestation of the crime. The women are being found in these buildings. You've seen many of in Riverdale, for example. She was found, Rachel Cartlidge was found in an alley behind an abandoned building, which is most of all the cases are found in those areas of abandoned buildings. And Chicago is not trying to close those buildings down because they're getting money for it.
I don't think there's enough money compared to the taxes that you have on the Gold Coast, Lincoln Park, down in the Loop. I think that those areas, the problem is, one, they're infested with crime, and there's a low return. In other words, if you're going to invest your money in an area, first thing you're going to look at is the crime rate. And then you got to look at the income of the people that's living in the area. If you're going to put a $20 million building, say on the South Side, the return, what are you going to charge for rent? What are you going to charge for rent? Section 8, well, Section 8, they limited on how much they can charge with Section 8. You said, wait a minute, those people can't afford places that you through $20 million, the return for rent, maybe it's going to have at least for one bedroom $1,500.
Well, see, then you're telling the problem of what America put this in place to do.
No,
systematic destruction.
I don't think it's that way. They don't. You have to understand. They have already decided back in the 50s that they was going to outsource all the jobs to China.
When it closed down Capri Green, all those folks.
That was by design.
That was by design. But wait a minute. That area became gentrification. Now, those people are not paying no taxes. You know, you're on a roll. You're on a roll now. Somebody, wait a minute. This neighborhood has come back. The projects is there. They said, wait a minute. The people we got staying there, we're not getting enough taxes for the city. Say, listen, we're going to condemn the place, beautify it just for the taxes because we need the taxes. That's basically what it comes down.
You're telling me that
Once y'all finish, we're going to come on back to something, but go ahead and get your statement.
You're telling me that Chicago does not have money? I beg to differ.
No.
So much money that they're not.
You don't understand. That's somebody that has a lack of understanding because you know how you can check the stuff? You go and look at the bond dealing. The bonds that the city of Chicago have. Do you know they're almost junk SAT status? They're just like the average person now that has bad credit. Most black people got bad credit. I didn't say most. I didn't say all of them because of low income. Now, if you got the same thing that happens for a city or a place like Wilmette, well, they got a better credit rate than Chicago got because basically the income. But so what I'm saying, they don't raise the bar for Chicago and Illinois. They say this is junk because your pension expenses is greater than some of your income. You don't have enough money to fund these stuff.
Excuse me, y'all. Man, everything that y'all saying, you know what it's validity. It's validity, it's truth, it's reality. It's rational. But I want to go back to these young ladies.
Man.
That are missing. Does it disturb y'all, both of y'all?
Absolutely disturb me.
If these women are coming up missing, damn it, and there's organs that are missing outside of these bodies, does it disturb y'all?
It disturbs me because of the fact, first of all, when it comes to our faith, when
I say organs, hearts, livers.
Oh yeah.
Like Mark, does it disturb you?
It disturbs us.
That's everywhere now.
Because of what it is robbing that person the bit of life. We don't project taking life. Life must continue based off how the Almighty gives it. We have no power or no control to take someone's life. So it disturbs me. That's why I'm involved very much so in this initiative when it comes to the 75 women of color murdered. Now the number nationally is from 64,000 to 75,000 missing. So these numbers are increasingly growing. This issue has not been pushed forward in Chicago since I've been on this point.
They finding bodies
Everywhere.
but the organs are gone.
Right.
Does that bother you, Dr. Lee Warren?
Yeah, but if you follow the situation, not only is it locally, it's national and it's also internationally. You know.
Absolutely.
And see, if you want to look at one of the biggest persons, one of the big
China for sure up there.
China is number one because what happens in China, they don't play like every black person. On all these criminals,
my poop come up.
they should. Like I tell these criminals, I say you better kiss the ground every day that you born in America. Because see, you wouldn't last 2 minutes in China because China wouldn't, all these drive-bys, you ain't going to have that stuff in China. Because you know what they do is a bullet to the head and they take your organs.
So it disturbs y'all. And then something else, and be aware of women, this sign right here, women that are coming up missing at night. Does it bother both of y'all that some of these women are being sold in the sex slave trade? Does that bother y'all? And what would y'all say to somebody that's doing this?
First of all, it bothers me because first, our women are our mothers of our children, our families. That is immoral and inhumane. The women have been taken from their families, taken from their parents and all their families. You see the images. Every time I look up, I see someone missing. It is absolutely out of control and it's an epidemic. So it bothers me, and that's why I'm continuously being a part of this initiative and partnering with other organizations in Chicago and on Facebook, and then we're trying to coordinate and to see if there's any resolve so any one that comes home. So
okay, does it bother you, Dr. Lee Warren? First of all, the sex slave trade has been going on for years, but does it bother you?
It has exploded since the last 10 or 15 years. It's
The woman is a slab of meat.
yeah.
Well, it's always been going. Excuse me. It's always been going on since the early '60s. And if you don't really we get deep and go down a rabbit hole, you look at the organization called the Finders, Finder.
Google that.
You just Google and find this. You'll find out that some of the organizations, the CIA, there were a lot of people, a lot of parts of the governments are involved in situations like that because it brings in, one of the largest sources of revenue in the world, besides guns, dope, is trafficking women.
And it's the one racial color is our people. That's the highest market for one in those type of.
You're gonna make a generalization and see all. You saying?
I'm saying
I said some. I don't even say all because
majority of the scope of people who are abducted is the people of color.
I won't go along. I won't go along with the others.
You would go along with that?
No. Hey, no. Listen, how many black children do you know are kidnapped on an annual basis?
Well, if I was looking at missing women.
I said if you look at the FBI report of what's reported, mostly are Caucasians, because what the people really want, if you want to really get down, we're getting deep. We off into Luciferian.
You're looking at on a national state. I'm looking at more of a state, local look.
Oh, yes, that's what I'm saying. You have to look first. These are in other words, sex trafficking primarily are done by white women. They call it white slavery. See, and those are the wealthy people that are in this outfit that does that. I mean, black people are on the low scale. They're part of it. But what is the ideal meat that market a blonde, blue-eyed, green-eyed? That's number one.
Well, that would be, you're talking about like the streetwalkers, correct? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about people that come up missing.
Okay.
Literally come up missing. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that black people don't come up missing. I'm just saying if you look at the ethnic group going from Caucasians on down.
Give me a statistical number where you say more of the.
Just looking up, but most of them are basically white. Because if that finders group I'm talking about, that is primarily white, male, and women.
Well, this is my theory when it comes to that. I think it's more people of color is because of the fact the organs of our people is the most profound of what the Almighty has put forth. This
I'm talking about the sex slave trade.
I'm talking about the sex slave trade.
Okay.
And if you want to get into talking about the idea of organ missing, we're a small part of that. We're a very small part of that market. When we start talking about the billions of dollars that's done throughout the world, we are less there because you got other people that need that are better prepared or people that don't want to color.
Excuse me, y'all. And you know what? We're going to come back to that. But you know what? This is something that a lot of people looking at television do not know. These women are coming up missing, and they're still cannibals, accountable for somebody that does not know is somebody that eats other people. And there are black markets in Europe where you can buy body parts. I saw the videos and did the research. Oh yeah, I saw this. First pilgrims, a lot of them were cannibals, and I believe this, the Indians was the first supper. Okay, but what do y'all think about cannibalism and somebody saying, damn, you know what, I'm gonna eat a person, I'm gonna catch them, I'm gonna leave them in a dungeon, I'm gonna get them fat, so I give them more meat. What do y'all think about somebody with a mind like that?
Well, it's a dimension.
What do y'all think about cannibalism?
Well, I'm not for that type of practice. I'm more for humanity and righteousness. We don't doubt, cannot rule out those type of practices out there. There's a demented, deranged individual out there that wants to pray and take women and have those things out there. But at this point, we have to. I recall I saw something in the news where there was a doctor that had fetal organs. Yeah. So I mean, this is another area of that type of thing.
Okay. What is your message to the cannibalism, and what did you think about it?
Well, it has always been in existence throughout the pagan societies. The so-called if you want to go back to the religions, Israel was forbidden to use that. Right. A lot of people, Yahweh had forbidden Israel to even go to that practice, but it is a practice that's even evolved today into the satanic and Luciferians, because they believe in that certain parts of the body and certain blood is very important to maintain health.
Now I have to ask both of y'all, because I'm gonna give y'all finishing comments, because you know, but what I would like to know is somebody that is abducting women and do that, can y'all send a message to them? You and you.
First of all, I want to say to Chicago, whomever you out there, there's a serial killer in our community. Because if we look at the examples that we have seen since 2001, there has been 75 plus murders. We're calling 75. We believe it's more, based off of the Murder Accountability Project that was put together by.
You send a message to them, brother.
And I want to send a message to them that we are out here and we're going to continue to advocate, and we're going to find whomever this is and bring them to justice, because of the fact we cannot sit back. The men in the community is not going to sit back and tolerate women being missing. So we're going to find you, we're going to bring you to justice, and we're going to move forward.
And Dr. Lee Warren, for somebody that has a Luciferian mind like that, can you send a message to him?
Listen, you're dealing with some of a satanic and Luciferian nature. In a lot of your secret societies, these are some of the people that really, most people don't have a clue what runs this country. Really run the country and run the world. These ancient families, so that have participated in stuff. And it's very little you can say their day is coming. And in Revelation, they talk about the casting down of this Babylonian system that we have, and they will be overthrown. Mm-hmm. It's something that's worldwide, and most of them. Well, the message has already been sent to them. They will be overthrown. Okay. It's already been prophesied in the scriptures.
The Bible says it.
Okay. And you know, we got 3 minutes left, and I want to thank everybody for looking at the Underground Railroad television show. And I would like for you to give your information. Give you a minute. I think it's only fair that I get the last minute, but go ahead.
You can reach me, www.tukunkai.org, where we have a Facebook page at TCIN Help 7. You can reach me there. My email address is admin@tukunkai.org.
Phone number.
And my phone number is 773-426-1655. And I'm president of Tikkun Kai International, Rabbi Michael Ben Yosef.
Now you Rabbi, I don't know what to say. Shalom.
Shalom, hallelujah.
I don't know. But you got a minute in.
You can contact me. I'm playing the power latent in man. That's which is the Holy Spirit. And you can contact me at 773-509-8124. We have a television show that comes on every Wednesday from 8:30 to 9:30 on Channel 36. It's reshown from 10:30 to 11:30 on Channel 36. And the website is plem2.org. Just look it up, Plem. I can't
Where
remember.
y'all meet at?
And we meet at Lutheran School of Theology every Sunday at the Lutheran School. That's 55th and Woodlawn there.
Well, you know what? Assalamu alaikum. Watch the Underground Railroad every Saturday night at 10:30. I think I said it fast enough. I get in there if they let me. Okay, so I think I'm going to talk.